You know, for me, this annual luncheon is one of the highlights of the year. It's really a reunion of the conservation community, and it's so wonderful to see all of you here. Thank you for coming, for your support. You're our partners, our friends, our members, our colleagues, our governmental leaders, and it's just great to see all of you here with us today. Our president, Jill Allreed, spoke about Openlands Lakeshore Preserve at Fort Sheridan. Remarkable effort to save, a mile of Lake Michigan shoreline. Make it available to the public. And what it does is embody really the spirit of Daniel Burnham. And I know you've heard a lot this year about this big anniversary that we're celebrating, a landmark, the 100th anniversary of the famous Burnham-Bennett Plan. And it's one of the granddaddies of urban planning. Became a model across this country and around the world. And it was regional in scope and had so many significant dimensions to it that we are beneficiaries of today. Openlands realized that this was an opportunity to partner with the Burnham Centennial Committee and to provide coordination for a series that we call Green Legacy projects, 21 of them throughout the three-state region. Some are things that we have spearheaded ourselves, but most are headed by partners. And very exciting set of projects that really embody the vision and spirit of Daniel Burnham and the Great Plan. November 5th, in fact, at the Spertus Museum at 5 o'clock, there'll be a celebration of these 21 projects. All of you are welcome to attend. If you're available, you could go to the Burnham Centennial website, and there's information there about registering. It's a free event. But these projects fit several categories. They complete our region's trail system, which is significant. They connect us to our rivers and streams. They expand our neighborhood green space. They protect our Lake Michigan shoreline, and they preserve regionally significant open space throughout the area. At Openlands, we kind of looked at the plan and read it and tried to extrapolate some of the basic principles related to open space that are embodied there, things that really motivate our work today. And I suspect what all of you care about and are working on, you share those same values. And I'd like to just share a couple of them with you. I mean, one clearly is the supremacy of the lakefront. You know, that Lake Michigan is a resource for all people, its shoreline and its waters. For 3 years now, we've been partnering with Metropolitan Planning Council on some very important policy work looking at regional water supply issues in our greater metropolitan area in the 11 counties of northeastern Illinois. And it's very complicated. I won't go into it, but one of the facts that just stands out is that 77% of our population gets its clean drinking water from that lake. It is so important in so many ways, as an economic, as an environmental, aesthetic, I would say almost a spiritual resource. And Burnham himself said that in every aspect, Lake Michigan is a living thing, delighting man's eye and refreshing his spirit. And so we now, this generation, have our charge, to really make sure that we're protecting that and enhancing it. And we have wonderful people like Senator Durbin, who's working with us to make sure that that happens. And our president, I might add. Another one of these principles, really, that underscores the Burnham Plan is that open space, parks, natural areas, that these are really civic assets, that they really shape the character and nature of our cities and our entire metropolitan region, and that all people should have convenient access to nature, to parks, to recreational resources, to the out of doors, no matter where they live, at whatever scale. And there is a hierarchy there, and that's something that he articulated, from the neighborhood all the way to the broad regional landscape scale. And at Openlands, we're a regional land conservation group, and so we work at all those scales. And this past year, we were honored to work with community leaders in Chicago's neighborhood of Englewood. They developed, with our help, and it's their plan, a comprehensive open space plan that incorporates, among other things, the New Era Trail, which is an elevated abandoned rail line, which will be this wonderful swath of green for hiking and biking that will connect the neighborhood one part to the other. At the other end of that spectrum, we've been working with wonderful partners, the Hackmatack, Friends of Hackmatack, and also the Trust for Public Land, on exploring the first national wildlife refuge for Illinois. In fact, it would be a two-state effort that would encompass lands in Wisconsin and northern Illinois. We're very excited about that. A third principle that really underscores all of the Burnham Plan is that planning and public policy really matters. I mean, all you have to do is look to our lakefront or to the Cook County Forest Preserve system. They were envisioned in that plan, and because the plan had power and people believed in it and worked over generations to secure those goals, we are the beneficiaries of that. There are last 4 miles in Chicago that remain. Friends of the Parks have been providing leadership on that project. Again, one of these 21 Green Legacy projects. So there's still a lot of work to do, but you can see that a good plan has power and can really set the stage for long-term action. This is the first time that our region is doing a comprehensive plan that incorporates open space, land use, and transportation. Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, CMAP, is providing the leadership for that. Go to 2040. All of you need to get involved. The plan will be finalized next year. And again, you can go to the CMAP website or go to 2040 or the Burnham Centennial website and find out how you can get engaged. We've been working for many years now with CMAP's predecessor and with CMAP, with the Illinois Paddling Council and with Northwest Indiana Regional Planning Commission on developing a several thousand-mile network of greenways, hiking and biking trails, and blueways or water trails connecting Indiana and Illinois, one community to another, one important forest preserve and natural area to another. It's that green infrastructure that is so important, that cuts through these political boundaries, that really gives us a sense of identity as a region. Another important principle that Daniel Burnham emphasized was urgency. Now, this was 100 years ago, and obviously the development pressures weren't anything like what we face today. But he said, you know, we have to save this land now. Well, how much truer is that today? And there were a couple things that weren't in that plan as principles or values, and one of them was ecological restoration. He did emphasize using native plants, which was really quite visionary. But ecology as a science was just emerging, some of the pioneering work at University of Chicago and elsewhere. Chicago area became one of the centers really for the emergence of restoration ecology as a science. And so a lot has changed. And land doesn't save itself. It doesn't restore itself. You do it, we do it. And there's a wonderful coalition here, Chicago Wilderness, now over 250 members, governmental and not-for-profit, looking at the four-state region to make sure that that green infrastructure, that rare nature is protected. Openlands is honored to have been one of the founding members over 10 years ago. Another thing that really is not part of the plan in a conscious way is farmland. It wasn't threatened then. And we just heard about this revolution, and it truly is, all over the country for healthy, locally grown food. You can't do that unless you have the land to raise it on. And again, it works at various scales, from small community gardens here in Chicago neighborhoods, to smaller farms in our suburbs, to that great swath of extraordinary farmland, one of the great natural resources of the world that surrounds our metropolitan area. And Openlands has been working with many of you as partners to make sure that land is there so that we can raise this healthy, wonderful food that we all deserve. It is a national movement, and our speaker today is one of those leaders in that movement by any definition. Rick Bayless, along with his wife Deanne, founded Frontera Grill and Toplabambo, recently opened Shoko, their newest restaurant. He's an amazing guy. I mean, award-winning chef, restaurateur, cookbook author, television personality. Just this past August, as I'm sure we all know, he was elected top chef master. Amazing. And he does so much to support these efforts here in our region and really around the country. Very important, though, he's the founder of Frontera Farmer Foundation, which he started 6 years ago to promote sustainability among small farmers and within the Chicago region. Rick is also co-founder and very active member of Green City Market, which has already been mentioned. And Alice Waters has said this is the best sustainable market in America, which it is. And I'm honored to serve on that board with Rick. I see firsthand his passion, his intelligence, his commitment, his generosity. And so we're delighted to have him with us today, and please join me in welcoming Rick Bayless.